Hi everybody, I just wrapped up my 14th book of the year, All the Dangerous Things by Stacy Willingham. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I really wasn't anticipating giving it such a high rating. Even up until maybe the last 40-50 pages, I didn't think that I was going to give this book 5 stars. I really honestly thought it was going to end up being 3 or 4, but the way it pulled together in the end, I gave it a little bit of a bump. Okay, so this is definitely a darker book. It is a scarier kind of thriller style book. It has to do with a missing / dead child. Basically the main character, she's a mom, she has a kid, and he goes missing. She wakes up one morning and the kid's not there. I think he's about 6 months old, and it's a year after he went missing, and she still doesn't have any answers. The police are still working on the case, but they really have no leads. There was no evidence left behind. There was, I think, maybe half a footprint outside the window, and the window in his nursery was open, but that's it. So it's a cold case kind of at this point. And basically when you meet this character, she's actually at a crime con convention, like a true crime convention, talking about her case and kind of talking about what she's been through and how she's still looking for her kid. And so that was interesting. I haven't seen that used in a book before, so I kind of enjoyed that. In fact, I thought this book was going to be a lot more about that, because as she's leaving the convention, she meets a podcaster who wants to interview her and use her story. And so I really genuinely thought that the book was going to be told through their interviews as they are putting together this podcast. And actually, you know, it comes up, and obviously that's how one of the characters gets introduced and how they're involved, but you actually don't spend much time talking about that or kind of stuck on that. The other thing that I thought was interesting was the setting for this book. So the character currently, and when she loses her child, and most of her adult life takes place in Savannah, Georgia. I used to spend a lot of time in Savannah. I love that city. It's beautiful. It's creepy. It's kind of like if Charleston, South Carolina, and New Orleans had a baby. So it has like a coastal vibe, not so much a swampy vibe, but it definitely has haunted, kind of ghosty eeriness to it. Savannah's a great city. If you've never been there, go there. But so this kind of takes place in Savannah, and so I really enjoyed that. The one thing is also you have 2 different time frames. I guess technically you have multiple different time frames, but I would say the 2 big times are current day, when she's trying to figure out what happened to her son, and you also get stories of when she was growing up. She also grew up outside of Savannah on this really creepy historic home with her parents, and basically something happens that makes her think that possibly she's involved in her son going missing. She's a sleepwalker, and so she thinks maybe in her sleep she picked him up, and you don't know what exactly she did with him, but she thinks that she picked him up while she was sleepwalking and hurt him or got rid of him or who knows what. And so basically that ties back into her childhood when she was also a sleepwalker. So I thought that was interesting. But basically the book is very much the classic storyline of this woman thinks she's insane and all the people around her thinks that she's insane, which I mean, it's true. There definitely is a lot of that in our world where, you know, hysteria, so to speak. People just think she's losing her mind and she's going crazy and she can't come to terms with things. But her quote-unquote craziness pays off because she stays persistent and gets the answers that she wants. Like I said, I thought that was kind of cool. I really liked the ending. I think that's really where it tied together. I up until maybe the last 30 pages, I was like not so much into it and thought that I was going to give it, you know, 3 out of 4 stars or something like that. But all of a sudden at the end, it kind of tied it all together in a really great way. So I enjoyed it. So I got 5 out of 5 stars. Again, if you're into like darker books and kind of thriller books, it's going to be up your alley. Definitely a good read. Nothing too bad or too great to say about it. I mean, I gave it 5 stars, so I guess I do have some great things to say about it. Great setting, at least. The next book that I have on deck, this is going to be number 15, Liane Moriarty, 3 Wishes. I have read a lot from her. I can't remember exactly. Let's see. The Husband's Secret, What Alice Forgot, are two that I know for sure that I've read. I know Nine Perfect Strangers and Big Little Lies have been turned into series. I think she also does Apples Never Fall. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that is on my list of books that I want to read, but I don't currently own it. This is an old book. You can see how yellow the pages are, and some of the font choices in this book are kind of screaming like 2016 to me. I've had this book for a very long time, and I needed something hopefully a little bit lighter and fluffier after reading such a dark book with all the dangerous things. So if you've read either of those two, let me know your thoughts and feelings on it. Again, 5 out of 5 stars for All the Dangerous Things. If you are someone who likes to have kind of a concise storyline, you might feel the same way I did, where you didn't give it a good rating until the very end. I just find it frustrating sometimes, and this is kind of a common thing, especially in some of these darker books, where I feel like if people were just better at communicating, a lot of issues would go away, and that might be a bit of a duh, but there are so many books where the main character doesn't want to tell people their true thoughts and feelings for whatever reason, justified or not. They just don't want to share their true thoughts and feelings about things, and therefore it leads to so much more communication issues and drama and turmoil, which is a good thing. You don't want a book to be boring. You want some sort of drama, but I don't know, I just find it a little frustrating sometimes, where I'm like, if you just talk to somebody about this, it could get better. Like, she has a therapist that she was seeing, but she won't talk to him at all, because I guess she doesn't trust him. She has, there's a cop who's working on the case. She won't talk to him about certain things because she thinks that he doesn't believe her. And it's, well, maybe he doesn't believe you because you don't tell him everything. I don't know. That's just something that kind of drives me nuts. So if that's something that drives you crazy, you might also find this book a little annoying at times. But at the end, it pulls it all together, and it is great. 5 stars. Okay, so if you've read either of those books, let me know your thoughts and feelings. Did you feel the same way? Am I crazy for not liking this book from the get-go? And also, if you read 3 Wishes, let me know what your thoughts and feelings on that was. Okay, I'll see you guys next week.